We were sitting on the same faded blue couch where we once made out for hours without caring that the neighbors could see through the half-open blinds. The same couch that still had the tiny burn mark from the night we got too high and dropped a joint while trying to light candles for her 24th birthday. The same couch that had carried the weight of our laughter, our fights, our whispered future plans, our silent treatments. Our bodies tangled after sex when we were too lazy to move to the bed, and now it carried the heaviest thing of all, the truth I had been carrying alone for almost a year. A truth that had grown inside me like a tumor made of guilt and cowardice, and the terrifying clarity that comes when you finally admit you no longer want the life you spent years building. Leah was painting her toenails a ridiculous glittery purple because she said it made her feel like a mermaid even in November, the sharp chemical smell mixing with the cold Thai food we never finished. The rain tapping against the window like it was trying to get in and stop me, her dark hair falling over one eye the way it always did when she concentrated, that little scar on her thumb catching the lamplight, the scar I kissed 1,000 times. And I just stared at her, at this person who used to be my entire world, who knew how I took my coffee before I even woke up, who could make me laugh with one raised eyebrow, who cried in my arms the night her dad had the heart scare, who danced barefoot in this apartment to songs I pretended to hate just to see her smile, and I felt absolutely nothing except the crushing certainty that I had to end us tonight. Not tomorrow, not next week, not after the holidays when it would be kinder, tonight. Because every additional day I stayed was another day I lied to the person I once loved more than breathing. I set my phone down, took what felt like the last real breath I would ever take in this apartment as ours, and said her name. Just Leah, soft, the way I used to say it when I woke up before her and watched her sleep, and she looked up, blew gently on her wet nails. Smiled that half smile that still made my chest tighten even though everything else inside me had gone cold, and asked what's up, and I said we need to talk, and I watched the smile die the way a candle dies when someone opens a door too fast, watched her shoulders stiffen, watched her put the nail polish brush back in the bottle with the kind of slowness people use when they're trying to delay the inevitable, and when she finally said, okay, her voice was already cracking, already preparing for the earthquake, and I told her I couldn't do this anymore, that I thought we should break up, that I loved her, but I wasn't in love with her anymore, that somewhere along the line we had become roommates who occasionally touched each other out of muscle memory instead of desire, that I woke up every morning with this quiet panic that this was going to be my life forever, and I didn't want it, not with her, not with anyone right now. That staying together just to spare her pain was crueler than leaving, that I was drowning in the life we built, and the only way I could breathe was to let her go. She didn't scream, didn't throw anything, didn't call me names. She just stared at me with those huge brown eyes filling up so fast it was like someone turned on a faucet behind them, tears sliding down without permission while she asked why, when, how long have you felt this way? Did I ever really love her? Was there someone else? And every question was a knife, but the worst one was the quietest, when she whispered, do you even care how much this is going to destroy me? And I had no good answer because yes, of course I cared. That's why I waited so long. That's why I tried to fix it in silence. That's why I went to therapy alone and didn't tell her. That's why I forced myself to touch her when I didn't want to, why I planned dates I didn't feel, why I smiled in photos that now feel like crime scene evidence. Because I thought if I just tried harder the feeling would come back, but it never did. It only got quieter, colder, until one day I looked at her across the breakfast table and felt irritated that she was humming while making coffee, and I knew with a sick certainty that I was already gone and had been for months, maybe longer, maybe since the trip to Lisbon when we fought about nothing for 3 straight days, maybe since the night I caught myself fantasizing about being single while she slept beside me. Maybe since the moment I stopped reaching for her hand in the car without thinking. She stood up then, walked to the kitchen doorway, stood with her back to me under that stupid warm light that made her look like an angel I was about to murder, and asked if I understood that I wasn't setting her free. I was abandoning her after she gave me every single piece of herself, after she chose me every day even when I stopped choosing her back, and I had nothing to say because she was right. I was the villain here. The coward who waited until the love ran out completely before admitting the tank had been empty for ages. and then she went to the bedroom without another word. I heard drawers opening, the zip of the duffel bag we bought together for Iceland. The soft whimper of Pancake following her because even the dog knew something was dying, and 10 minutes later she came out with the bag slung over her shoulder and Pancake's leash in her hand. Eyes red but dry now, like she had cried herself empty in record time. And she told me I could keep the apartment she'd get. Crying that feels like vomiting your soul, because I had done the right thing and it felt exactly like murder, because I had freed us both and it felt like I had amputated my own limbs, because I was finally honest and honesty tasted like ash and blood, and the rest of my life stretching out empty and echoing without her humming in the kitchen, without her cold feet on my legs in bed, without her voice saying, "Babe," in that particular way that used to make the whole world make sense. The weeks that followed were a slow-motion car crash I lived inside, waking up reaching for her body and panicking at the cold sheet, making coffee for one and staring at the second mug I still couldn't put away, taking Pancake on walks and watching him search every face we passed for hers, coming home to an apartment that smelled less like her every day until one morning I realized I couldn't remember exactly what her perfume smelled like, and I hated myself for that more than anything. Friends tried to help, told me I was brave, told me it would get better, bought me drinks, set me up on dates I didn't want, but at 3 a.m. when the city was quiet, I would open our old photos and scroll until my eyes burned, torturing myself with pictures of us laughing on the pier in Santa Monica, kissing under the northern lights, drunk and happy at 2 a.m., making pancakes shaped like hearts, and I would text her things I never sent. Paragraphs of apologies and explanations, and please to let me take it all back. Even though I knew I didn't really want to be taken back, I just wanted the pain to stop. Wanted to stop being the person who destroyed the best thing that ever happened to him. She came for the rest of her stuff on a Saturday while I hid at my brother's. And when I came home, half the apartment was gone. Blank spaces on the walls where her paintings used to live. Empty shelves where her books leaned against mine like they were holding hands. Her side of the closet hollow and echoing. Only the ceramic cactus remained with its tiny post-it still stuck to the pot. Water me sometimes. A quiet command from the woman I would never touch again, and I watered it religiously even though everything else in my life withered. Watered it while I lost 15 pounds, while I cried in the shower so the water could hide the sound, while I started sleeping on the couch because the bed felt like a crime scene, while I learned how quiet a one-person life really is, how loud the silence gets when the person who used to fill it is gone forever. Months have passed now, seasons changed. I heard through friends that she moved in with her sister, got a new job, cut her hair short the way she always talked about but never did when we were together, adopted a cat named Pickle because of course she did, and I hope she hates me cleanly, hope she never thinks of me at all. Hope one day she wakes up next to someone who looks at her like she is the first sunrise after a life.